A pleasant evening and a warm welcome to Rupavahini News, live on Channel I, covering the truth. I'm Dulanjali Ananda.
Hello there, good evening and a warm welcome indeed. We start off with a look at the headlines for tonight. The President reiterates that firm decisions will have to be taken if institutions established to safeguard the freedom and democracy of the country act according to political agendas. Fire at the refuse dump in Badul has been extinguished after 4 days. The number of patients suffering from joint diseases increases in proportion to the aging population. The police raid a large-scale sand racket in Kalanimulla. Some of the responsibilities of the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister have been entrusted to the Finance Minister of the state. Now, for those in more in detail, we start off with a look at local news. President Maithripala Sirisena reiterates that institutions established to safeguard freedom and democracy of the country should not act according to political agendas. Law should be equal to all, and the President made these remarks at the Satviru Sanghita Housing and Land Ownership Presentation Ceremony today. The event was conducted at the Sri Lanka Foundation Institute in Colombo. The program is being implemented on behalf of gallant soldiers of the three armed forces and the Civil Defence Department who have actively contributed in the operation against terrorism. Our heroic soldiers who are still in service and disabled and retired security forces personnel are also entitled to receive benefits under the program. It is being implemented on a concept of the President, and 138 recipients were handed over housing and land benefits at today's ceremony. The President symbolically presented title deeds to 10 beneficiaries, and the President has stressed that there will not be any room either to weaken the security forces or to discredit our gallant soldiers. The President said that a week ago the former Defence Secretary and three former Commanders-in-Chief of the Navy have been produced before the courts. The President said that he expresses his displeasure over the issue, and if there is any problem regarding the Avant-Garde Institute and the Security Division, there should be a method of investigating such an incident. He added that the heads of the relevant institutions have a duty and responsibility to enlighten the President in this regard. The President further said that certain groups are trying to gain political advantage on such issues. He also said that he became President not to meddle in the activities of the independent commissions, and he also added that he does not need to influence judges. He has also no desire to set free from the justice system those who are engaged in serious crimes. The President has many duties and responsibilities, and he has to safeguard law and order in the country and to guarantee fundamental rights on freedom and democracy. The President added that in the process of fulfilling such obligations, he is not prepared to come under the influence of any person. He further said that he will not at any instance undermine the strength of the security forces. No opportunities will also be provided for others to do so either. The President further said that if institutions such as the CID, the FCID or the Commission of Investigating Charges on Bribery or Corruption act according to political agendas, measures have to be taken against such attempts.
මම කිසි වෙලාවක හමුදාව දුර්වල කරන්න මම කටයුතු කරන්නේ නැහැ. හමුදාව දුර්වල කරන්න මම දෙන්නෙත් නැහැ. CID, FCID, අල්ලසා දූෂණ කොමිෂන් සභාව දේශපාලන න්‍යාය පත්‍ර වලට කටයුතු කරනවා නම් ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් මටත් තීන්දුව తీරන ගන්න සිද්ධ වෙනවා කියන එක මම පැහැදිලිව ප්‍රකාශ කළා.
Minister Dayagamage, several senior members of the Defence Forces, including the Commanders-in-Chief of the three armed forces, were also present.
The President has instructed to conduct a full investigation into the assault that has taken place in a social club in Union Place, Colombo, on the 8th of this month. Acting Minister of Media, Karunaratne Paranavithana, said at a media briefing to convey cabinet decisions today that accordingly the police and the Presidential Investigation Division have commenced extensive investigations. Acting Minister of Parliamentary Reforms and Media, Karunaratne Paranavithana, said that charges have been raised in this connection on Daham Sirisena, son of the President. The President has taken a decision to conduct a full investigation regarding the incident. The President has given instructions to the Security Division and the police in this regard. The Presidential Investigation Unit has commenced an inquiry to find out whether Presidential Security Division personnel were involved in this incident and whether they were engaged in unlawful acts. If any group is trying to cover any act of irregularity, no room should be left to conceal such offence. Some parties say that a confrontation has taken place, while others say that such an event has not taken place. All investigations will be carried out in a transparent manner. The President has set an example by giving way to openness to inquiry.
මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් විනිවිද පෙනෙන පරීක්ෂණ වලට රජය ඉඩ දෙනවා. ඒක ජනාධිපතිතුමාම මේ ආදර්ශය පෙන්වා දීලා තිබෙනවා.
We have not established any regulatory body as such. There is one not regulator, technical regulator, TRC, that's it, for the broadcast media. But let me reiterate what I have stated during the last weekend. When the ethical violations are happening in the broadcast media, we have to do something. So this shows the absence of a proper regulatory system, independent regulatory system. Because I don't want to intervene to the broadcast stations as the Director General of Information. It's wrong. From my side, it's unethical. But in the larger context of public interest, I have to intervene. Because we were getting calls, what the hell these stations are doing? How can you show the visuals of a suicide, committing suicide person? From the beginning to the end, and the body is being carried out. Not only by one station, but several stations. So, Honorable Minister called me, several media experts called me. So, I have to call some stations and say, ask them, request them, please stop these visuals. And I'm thanking them, the stations who promptly responded. When you highlight this, they realize that there's a legal issue, there's an ethical issue. So this shows us the need for an independent system. Government is preparing a discussion paper, which will be out very soon for the public discussion. And within a very specific time frame, with a deadline, we will come up with a specific act for an independent media regulatory system.
In the meantime, the 16th World Export Development Conference has commenced in Colombo today. President Maithripala Sirisena has presided over the inauguration ceremony. Sri Lanka is organizing this conference for the first time. The theme of this year's forum is Trade, Relations and Competition for Success. The two-day session deals with the problems encountered in global competition with new trade and development strategies. Another objective of the conference is to provide an opportunity for small and medium-scale entrepreneurs to enter into networks with international dealers and investors. Around 800 local and foreign businessmen and lecturers are participating at this event. The World Economic Development Forum is comprised of 4 sessions. The preliminary session has begun under the leadership of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. The Prime Minister said at this occasion that the policy of the government is to attract new investors and also to explore new markets for local industries.
We have a fairly good manufacturing industry catering to the domestic market, but that alone is enough. That will not create any more employment. We have to go out. So as we become competitive, while we are encouraging foreign direct investments, those who come into this country, we have the potential that our industry, the local industry, potential to expand and go into the nearby markets which they know well. There is no one in the domestic industry who doesn't know the regional market. We are planning to give sufficient incentives that they could get new machinery, they could raise the capital, train their people. In the next few years, they can expand and compete. We have been focusing on this aspect too, to ensure that we have a larger consumer market in Sri Lanka.
Chinese Deputy Minister of Commerce Wang Xiaowan, addressing the conference, said that the opinions expressed by the Sri Lankan Prime Minister would become invaluable for trade promotion in the Asian region.
FTAs with other economies. In our view, open and transparent FTAs do not substitute WTO, but supplement. FTA between members with different levels of development promotes industrial cooperation, trade and investment flow to the benefit of all participants.
It has been reported that a fire which has erupted in the Garbage Mountain near the Vincent Dyle Stadium in Badulla has now been fully doused. Uva Province Local Government Commissioner Mangala Vijayanayaka says that further operations are being continued at the location. The Badulla Municipal Council has been maintaining this refuse dump as a centre for recycling garbage for the past 10 years. The fire that started on last Sunday was extinguished today. Several persons who inhaled the poisonous fumes have been hospitalized. 5 schools in the vicinity have remained closed yesterday as well. Our correspondent says that student attendance was at a low level today. The army and the employees attached to local government bodies in the Uva province were engaged in strenuous efforts to put off the fire. Helicopters of the Air Force were engaged in spraying water from the air yesterday as well as today.
In the meantime, the President says that the government is committed to safeguard the future of the entire population of children. He made these remarks participating in the 75th anniversary celebrations of Anula Vidyalaya in Colombo today. Anula Vidyalaya was established on the 4th of January 1941 with 38 students. Presently, it has been developed into a leading girls' school with around 5,000 students. President Sirisena declared open the Anula Abhimana 2016 Education Exhibition and Carnival, and it will be conducted each day from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. till the 14th of this month. A commemorative stamp and first day cover was released in connection with the school's 75th anniversary, and Mahanayak of the court, Shri Kalyani Samagri Dharma Mahasangha Sabha, Most Venerable Ittapane Dhammalankara Thera, MPs, ministers, principal Mrs. P.N. Rajapaksha and the staff were amongst those who participated at the event.
Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy, has decided to complain to the CID regarding the divulging of secrets of the bank to the external sources. It has been reported that financial secrets were in the process of leaking out to outside for a long period. Several rounds of discussions have been conducted between the Governor of the Central Bank and the Prime Minister, Ranil Wickremesinghe, regarding the outside groups gaining access to state secrets. Further discussions are to be conducted in this connection after the Prime Minister's Brussels tour. A special investigating committee is also expected to be appointed in this connection. Several countries have warned the government that it would be extremely dangerous if the outside sources come to know the secrets of the central bank, especially when Sri Lanka is destined to become the proposed financial city of Asia.
Secretary to the Ministry of Disaster Management, S.S. Mienavala, says that the Treasury has allocated adequate funds to fulfill the water requirements of those undergoing hardships due to the dry weather conditions. He says that speedy measures will be taken to resolve their problems through the officers of the divisional secretariats, and the Secretary has made these observations at a media briefing held at the Disaster Management Centre today. The meeting was attended by the heads of relevant institutions. People in 22 districts are experiencing difficulties due to the delay in the southwestern monsoon. 162,000 persons in the Polonnaruwa district are included in this group. Water is now being provided to many affected areas through water bowsers, and dry weather condition has seriously affected the districts of Hambantota, Polonnaruwa, Radhapura, Vaunia, Monragala and Putlam districts.
Physicians say that with the increase in the aging population, the number of patients suffering from joint and related diseases would rise considerably by the year 2020. This would create a harmful influence on the economy of the country and society. The main problem confronted by those having joint and joint-related diseases is their inability to engage in daily routine independently. It has become imperative to deploy new methods to safeguard joints. Pain is a body signal that indicates there is some defect. It has been pointed out that wrong postures in daily activities may create an adverse impact in enhancing joint diseases. Direct positioning of the body helps to minimize back pain. When sitting, both feet should be firmly placed on the floor by making a 90-degree angle between the ankle and the knees. While engaging in work in the sitting position, it is appropriate to straighten the neck and the backbone. It is also necessary to select the most suitable domestic items. The doctors also say that constant understanding on the body postures and the body itself while engaging in work would become a tremendous boost to control the harmful effect of joint problems. Specialist physician Dr. Nihal Gunatilaka said that this is a disease condition connected to aging and it originates within the body itself. However, with illness could be controlled. The joint in the knees, elbows, heads and backbone could be affected. All pains are not related to arthritis. He also said that drugs and physiotherapy methods could play a vital role in throughout the lifetime of a patient to control the disease conditions that originate in the joints and in the backbone. A program to enlighten the general public in connection with the World Arthritis Day today was held at the Lakshman Kadaragama Center. The theme of this year's events is "The future is in your hands and be prepared." The program has been organized by the Association of Persons Suffering from Joint and Joint Release Diseases.
A group of officials of the Police Special Task Force have been successful in raiding a large-scale sand racket today. The fraud is reported to have been carried out in a marshy land in Kalanimulla, Anguda, and the main suspect and several other suspects of the illegal operation have been arrested. The raid has been carried out according to information received by the Geological and Mining Bureau, and the police have apprehended several tipper vehicles and equipment which was in use. The suspects who carried out the racket for a long period of time will be produced before the courts tomorrow.
Farmers in Hangurankata have been subjected to severe difficulties due to a certain group releasing furnace oil to the Rikilgaskada canal. The main canal feeds the Hangurankata tank and the Valugama tank. It also provides water to the Rikilgaskada drinking water project as well. Water is currently being distributed from the main canal on shift basis due to the existing dry weather condition. Accordingly, water is being diverted to the dumping station from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. the following day. The canal also supplies water to the paddy fields from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. A certain person was reported to have mixed the furnace oil to the water released at dawn yesterday. The residents say that this act of vandalism may have been carried out as a result of farmers' protests over a previous attempt to seal water.
Well, time now for a look at Asia in a minute.
A gunman dressed in a police uniform killed 14 at a Shiite shrine in Afghanistan yesterday. Indian security forces gunned down 2 militants today as fighting at a government compound in Pampo town of Indian Kashmir raged on for a third day. A power outage after a fire at an underground cable facility on the outskirts of Tokyo left some 350,000 households without electricity this afternoon. Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte reportedly will sign an executive order within a month prohibiting cigarette smoking in public places such as bus stops, government offices and parks, similar to a smoking ban in his hometown in Davao. A whale shark trapped in a fish fence in Philippines has been rescued. Locally known as butanin, the whale shark was approximately 10 feet long and weighs about 200 kilos. It is considered endangered. Welcome back. We continue with more local news. Cabinet approval has been granted to direct the structural and legal framework on national security to the Parliamentary Monitoring Committee. The guidelines have been drafted with the objective of introducing new legislation to control terrorism. The relevant draft bill will be discussed at the forthcoming Monitoring Committee sessions. The government aims to introduce new laws to control terrorism in place of the existing Terrorism Prevention Act. A committee under the leadership of Minister of Law and Order and Southern Development, Sagala Ratnayaka, has drafted the necessary structural and legal framework. It was submitted to the Cabinet by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe.
And the Minister of Fisheries, Mahinda Amaraveera, has requested the Sri Lankan Navy and the Coast Guard to take legal action against fishermen who hunt dolphins and whales in the Southern Sea. The Ministry of Fisheries has received reports that some fishermen are engaged in dolphin and whale hunting in the vicinity of Mirissa Fishery Harbour, and the Minister has requested the IGP to arrest those selling dolphin and whale flesh. The Minister further says that permits of fishermen engaged in whale and dolphin hunting will be terminated, and the necessary instructions in this regard have been given to the Director General of the Fisheries Department.
Minister Lakshman Kiriyala says that necessary encouragement will be given to private education in accordance with the government regulations. The minister was addressing a ceremony held in connection with the laying of a foundation stone for a medical faculty at the Northwestern University. The faculty is being constructed in a 30-acre land in the Mahamagundnagar in Kuliyapitiya. Minister Akila Viraj Karyavasam and other people's representatives as well as a large number of university lecturers have attended the event. Minister Kiriyala further said that an environment is being created in the country to provide higher education which is of higher standards as provided overseas.
Yet on local stories, the annual research session of the Postgraduate Institute of the Peradeniya University was held on the 7th and 8th of this month. The two-day conference was held at the Peradeniya University, and the event was facilitated the researchers to present their findings and participants to exchange the latest knowledge and experiences that they have gained. Vice-Chancellor of the Peradeniya University, Professor Upul B. Disanayaka, has presided over the event, and the keynote address was delivered by world-renowned environmental scientist Professor Kingsley Dixon of the Curtin University of Australia.
And also, I should mention that this filament has spread as colleagues found some years back, and the solution for coping with the stringencies of living.
Now here's the stock update for you. The All Shares Price Index closed at 6,510.18 points, dropped by 28.10 points, and the S&P SL20 Index closed at 3,638.08 points, also dropped by 12.01 points at the end of trading in the Colombo Stock Exchange today. Turnover was over 600 million rupees. We go for a short break. Stay tuned for international news.
Well, as promised, it's time for a look at international news now, as the ailing Chief Minister of India's southern Tamil Nadu state has handed over all her responsibilities to her deputy. Al Jairam Jayalalitha's portfolios were transferred to Op Pasaniriam, who has stood in for her in the past, but she will remain as Chief Minister. Governor Vidyasagar Rao's statement said the transfer had been carried out on Jayalalitha's express wishes, and it has been seen as another attempt to keel affairs about her health. Jayalalitha has been in hospital since 22nd September, and there has been a veil of secrecy of the extent of her illness, which has led to tension amongst her supporters in the state. There are concerns that her supporters could resort to violence and acts of self-harm in the event of bad news. On Tuesday, police in the state capital Chennai arrested 2 people for spreading rumours about her health. A political analyst, Bhagwant Singh, told BBC Hindi's Imran Qureshi that it was significant that the governor's statement expressly mentioned that the decision to shift portfolios was taken on the advice of the Chief Minister.
We have more foreign news in brief. Russia's President Vladimir Putin has cancelled a planned visit to France amid a row over Syria. He had been due to meet French President François Hollande and open a new Orthodox church later this month. But after France's government said talks would be confined to Syria, the visit was halted. On Monday, Hollande suggested Russia could face war crimes charges over its bombardment of Syria's city of Aleppo.
President Vladimir Putin's scheduled decisive turning point.
Russian planes have resumed airstrikes on rebel-held districts in the city of Aleppo. At least 25 people are reported to have died, including children. The bombardment follows a temporary lull called by the Syrian government partly to allow civilians to leave rebel areas in the east of the city. It has come under intense aerial attacks since a ceasefire brokered by the US and Russia collapsed last month. The Prime Minister of Singapore, Lee Hsien Loong, addressed the Australian Parliament today during an official three-day visit to the country. Welcomed by the House of Representatives with a standing ovation, Lee became the first Singaporean Prime Minister to ever address the Australian Parliament in Canberra.
Time now for a look at the world of sport, as today was the second day of the second unofficial test match between the A teams of Sri Lanka and the West Indies. The match is being played at the Pallekele Stadium in Kandy. The West Indies A team has opened up their first innings by scoring 509 runs, Vishwal Singh on 169 and Jamir Hamilton on 99. Sarita Sri Lanka picked up 4 wickets and the Sri Lankan A team has opened their first innings this afternoon. The 19th Army Para-Athletic Tournament has commenced at the Diagama Mahinda Rajapaksa Stadium today. 250 competitors representing 12 regiments are participating in the event, and the three-day tournament is comprised of 118 events.
Is he going to get the boundary? Yes, he is. That's an 8th Test 100 for Chiteshwar Pujara.
And India won the current Test series against New Zealand 3-0 yesterday by winning the third Test by 321 runs. India in their first innings scored 557 for the loss of 5 wickets, and New Zealand in their first innings were all out for 299. India scored 216 for the loss of 3 wickets in their second innings, and New Zealand, chasing a victory target of 475, were all out for 153 runs. With this victory, India has come forward to the top in the Test gradings, and Ravichandran Ashwin was selected as the man of the match and man of the series. The International Cricket Council has taken measures to impose a 20% fine on the tournament payments of Bangladeshi cricket team captain Mashrafi Mostasa and teammate Sabir Rahman. They have been fined for indecent behaviour at the second one-day international against England, and a conflict has been created due to the inappropriate response of Bangladeshi players following the fall of wickets of the England skipper Josh Buttler. The referee of the match was reported to have given a warning to the England captain as well.
Before we wind up the weather forecast for you, the Met Department says that atmospheric conditions are getting favourable for afternoon thunder showers, particularly in the eastern, northern and north-central provinces after 13th October. Showers or thunder showers will occur at few places in the eastern, Uva and northern provinces after 2 p.m. A few showers will occur at few places in the western and Sabaragamu provinces and the Galle and Mathura districts. There may be temporary localized strong winds during thunder showers. General public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by lightning activity.
Well, with that, we wind up Rupavahini News tonight. More stories tomorrow at the same time. Until then, good night.